Welcome to NBA Today's schedule release show. I'm Vanessa Richardson in for Malika Andrews. 1,200 games are on the slate this season, and we've gone through and pulled out the best of the best. Opening night sets the tone. Kevin Durant returns to Oklahoma City, of course, back where it all began as SGA and the Thunder raised their banner on ring night against the Rockets. Then the stage shifts to LA, where Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler lead the Warriors into a primetime battle with LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers. And that's just the beginning. For the 24th straight season, ESPN and ABC bring the NBA to center stage with some of the most electric matchups of the year. Circle January 24th right now. ABC's got a triple header worthy of the spotlight. Joel Embiid invades the Garden to face Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. Then it's a Western Semis rematch. Steph Curry versus Anthony Edwards. And of course, the nightcap. We're going to have Anthony Davis back in LA. How about that, where he spent 6 years? That's a good one. Jump to February 21st. The Rockets' revamped roster heads into the Garden, where Kevin Durant has been at his best throughout his career, averaging 31 points per game in the Mecca. The very next day, another ABC showcase. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs meet SGA and the reigning champs. And Nikola Jokic takes the Nuggets to the Bay for a heavyweight clash with the Warriors. Oh, March 1st, this is going to be a good one. Wemby under the Garden lights. Remember, he dropped 42 there on Christmas. 2 weeks later, a Western Conference Finals rematch. Anthony Edwards and the Wolves return to OKC to battle the Thunder once again. Got it? Good. 237 games will be on national television this season, but one of the biggest questions every year, who's got the most? Lucky for you, we counted. We have the list here of all the top 10 teams with the most national TV games. The Thunder, Lakers, Warriors, and Knicks all lead the way with 34. Following them are the Houston Rockets and Nuggets with 28 apiece. And below them are the Celtics, Cavs, and Mavericks. So many games to get through. But luckily, we've got you covered. And who better to break it all down than senior writer Ramona Shelburne? We've got Hall of Famer Mark Spears and a pair of NBA champions in Udonis Haslem and Kendrick Perkins. So we're going to dive right in because we got a lot to talk about. 34 national television games for the Lakers, Warriors, Thunder, and Knicks. But Perk, which team is the must-watch team of the entire 2025-2026 season?
You smell that? You smell that? I can smell it because I'm down here. Damn it, the Trill Burgers are cooking. They got an easy money burger. That's that Trill Burger right now. The Houston Rockets, who made the most powerful move this offseason by getting Kevin Durant. You already have baby Jokic and Afro Şengün down there putting up that work, what he does in the paint. Eamon Thompson is good for 2 to 3 highlights athletically every single night. And KD, a walking bucket, an artist, a magician with the pieces they already have. Jabari Smith, every single night is going to be must-see TV when it comes to the Rockets on both ends of the floor. Ime Udoka is even going to give you some action every now and then because we know he like to get into the action and beef. The Houston Rockets are going to be the most watched team this upcoming season, in my opinion.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you, Big Perk. As much as I want to go against y'all Texas boys, I got to agree with you 1,000%. Great Pat Riley told me. Yeah, 1,000%, bro. The great Pat Riley told me no rebounds, no rings. This team was the top rebounding team in the league last year. He also told me defense don't guarantee anything, but without it, you don't have a chance. This team defended at a high rate. They got the defense, they got the rebounding, they got the coaching. The only thing they needed was a go-to guy down the stretch. So damn it, you go get the best go-to guy down the stretch that you can get in the game today. So now you fill that gap. I'm interested to see what this team does. You go get Dorian Finney-Smith. You keep your core together with Jabari Smith. You extend him. You got Eamon Thompson coming back. You go get 3 centers. You got Şengün who can go get that work down there in the post. You got Capella who can go get those lobs. And you got Adams who beat the hell out of people on the boards. They addressed all weaknesses this offseason. I'm looking forward to watching them boys play too. I'm with you on that, Perk.
I don't know if I'm just nostalgic or because Steph's coming towards the last couple years of his career, but guys, to me, it's the Warriors. Do you remember how good they were when Jimmy Butler was traded when Jimmy Butler came over and traded? They're 23-7 after Jimmy Butler came over in that trade from the Miami Heat. Now, Steph got hurt in the playoffs, and they obviously didn't go as far as they wanted to go. But I want to see the Warriors back in action with Jimmy Butler with a full training camp. They were so good with him on that roster before Steph hurt that hamstring. And I know the Kuminga situation has dragged on all summer. It's gotten kind of ugly, but I expect him to be back on the team. And even if he isn't, Steph and Jimmy together have been great. And so I want to see how they come right out of the gates? Because the last few years, they haven't started fast, but this year they have the potential to build up a nice lead in that West.
Who are the champions, my friend?
That would be the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The last time, you just talked about the Warriors, the last time there was a repeat NBA champion was back in 2018, the Golden State Warriors. It has not happened since. Do these Oklahoma City Thunders have it in them to repeat? Everything changes for them. This is a team that didn't have great expectations. Now they got a championship. Now everybody comes in with a ring. They are known for their humility, but does that change? I remember in 2010, 9-10 season after the Lakers won, right?
Remember.
I mean, everybody knew Kobe had a PR person and Powell did, but all of a sudden DJ Banger and Meta World Peace had a PR person after they won. Yeah. Is that going to be like that for the Thunder? You know, their guys got paid. There's 3 stars, a trio. They got up to potentially 800+ million. Do they change? Do they have the same humility? Do they have the same fight? Do they have the same kumbaya afterwards, after games, putting their arms around each other? I have to see it. And if there are cracks early, then this protective egg is going to have cracks that people are going to pay attention to. They are must-watch.
Very interesting. And you know I'm not going to argue with what UD and Perk said about the Houston Rockets. I am surprised no one said the Lakers, because only LeBron knows whether or not year 23 is his final year. Let's run through some of his key matchups. LeBron versus Steph will see 4 more chapters added this season. The first meeting coming opening night, of course, October 21st. The two will also meet on February 7th, the 3-year anniversary of LeBron James coming to all-time leading scorer in NBA history. LeBron will also renew his career-long rivalry with the Boston Celtics 2 times in the regular season. LeBron will visit the Boston on December 5th, while the Celtics will travel to LA for a second matchup on February 22nd. The kid from Akron returns home. This is going to be a big one to his beloved fans on January 28th for what could be his final trip there. James has averaged 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists in Cleveland as an opponent throughout his career. And lastly, LeBron will visit the mecca of basketball at Madison Square Garden on February 1st. In his career, James has averaged
some of his best years. And also, that game last year is the game after they made the Luka Doncic trade.
Yeah.
Remember they played the Knicks in Madison Square Garden? It was a big game, and then all of a sudden, boom! Walk out of the post-game locker room, there's that trade.
Speaking of the Garden, we know that players across the league want their moment at the world's most famous arena. And this is where you can catch some of the All-Stars. Schedule right there. Ant-Man leads off the Garden Party, facing Cat and company in early November. And then Giannis, Ice Tray, Katie, Steph all get their shot at the Knicks. So I'm going to go to UD on this one. UD, the Knicks have the second shortest odds to win the East behind the Cavs, of course, and have the 3rd easiest strength of schedule in the league. What do you think is the Knicks' biggest challenge this season?
I'm going to go back to last year, and I'm going to go with them boys out of Detroit, the bad boys. Detroit basketball. Listen, I'm telling you, if Detroit wins Game 3 in Detroit, which they very well could have and should have, then we could be having a whole different conversation about how the playoffs went through last year. If you're a team like Detroit, a young team, you feel like you got slighted, you feel like you should have been in that spot, you do not forget about those moments. I feel like the Detroit Pistons have something going on. They're focused on getting back next year. Obviously, they brought in Duncan Robinson. I love Duncan Robinson. I love how he opens up Cade Cunningham. Duncan Robinson pulls triggers for Cade. Defenses overreact by the way he moves in his motor. I'm looking at the Detroit Pistons. I'm saying, everybody's saying, oh, the East is wide open. Oh, the New York Knicks. Oh, Boston is unhealthy. No, the Detroit Pistons sit right there saying, don't worry about it. We're going to be right there.
I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Brown on the sideline at MSG. He's replacing Tibbs. He has 2 new shooters that they need, in Clarkson and Yabusele. But what is he going to do with this offense? You know, I can see Mike having the offense that makes everybody happy, not just 2 people happy. 2 talented people at that, but trying to figure out how to make them more well-rounded. And the expectations are sky high. They were in the East Finals. It's been since 1973. Knicks fans expect this team to go to the finals. And Mike certainly has a lot of pressure, but he's faced pressure before, replacing Phil Jackson and coaching LeBron James and putting some foundation cement in Sacramento.
Perk, how about Jalen Brunson?
How about both of their stars, right? And OKC set the bar, especially SGA and J-Dub, and showed that it's two sides of the basketball. And when you talk about the Knicks, you talk about getting rid of Tom Thibodeau, who was a defensive-minded coach, and this team wasn't really good defensively when it mattered the most, especially big-body Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. If we're going to hold certain guys accountable around the league, we got to come with the same energy when it comes to those two. They were getting cooked in the Indiana series. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with Karl Anthony Towns. Should he be in the drop coverage? Should he switch? Either way, he was getting cooked. Jalen Brunson, the Indiana Pacers, they were trying to search him out in pick and rolls and trying to find a mismatch to go at him. Those two guys, being the faces of the franchise, they got to get their stuff together and slide those puppies on the perimeter if this team is trying to go to the level that they're trying to go to.
Listen, I know Mike Brown from when he came into Los Angeles to succeed Phil Jackson. He's obviously not afraid of stepping into some big shoes or into pressure situations. But you guys, they were in the East Finals last year. They were renaming the streets outside of Madison Square Garden. The Knicks got so close, and people in New York.
Dub Nation, buckle up, because we've got a big one today. The rumor mill is spinning, the insiders are talking, and once again, the Golden State Warriors are front and center. The story? Jonathan Kuminga, the rising star who's been one of the most talked about young players in the league. According to reports, the Milwaukee Bucks had serious interest in acquiring Kuminga this offseason. They were open to a sign-and-trade deal. But guess what? Talks collapsed. And the reason why is as fascinating as it is controversial. Some say the Warriors overplayed their hand. Some say it's a sign of respect for Kuminga's value. Others think the front office mishandled the situation. But as always here on Warriors Nation News, we're not just going to repeat the headlines. We're going to dig in, look at what really happened, and most importantly, break down what it means for the Warriors moving forward. And, as always, I want to hear from you. By the end of this video, I'm going to ask you to drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is a debate that every true member of Dub Nation needs to weigh in on. Let's start with the basics. According to Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, the Milwaukee Bucks were one of the teams who explored a potential pursuit of Jonathan Kuminga. On the surface, this made sense. The Bucks are looking to maximize the remaining prime years of Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're always exploring options to bring in young, athletic talent to balance out their aging roster. Kuminga fits that description perfectly. Explosive, athletic, capable of guarding multiple positions. And at just 21 years old, he's nowhere near his ceiling. The Warriors, meanwhile, were in talks with Kuminga about a contract. Reports suggest they were offering $45 million over 2 seasons, but Kuminga's camp believes he's worth far more. One insider even put his value around $125 million. That's a massive gap in valuation. So the stage was set. The Bucks were interested. Kuminga wanted a bigger role and bigger money. The Warriors had to make a choice: lock him in, trade him, or risk losing leverage. Here's where things get interesting. According to those same reports, the Warriors told Milwaukee, if you want Kuminga, we want Bobby Portis in return. Now, let's pause here. Bobby Portis is no superstar, but he's an established veteran, tough, physical, and capable of making a big impact off the bench. He's also been a key piece of Milwaukee's culture. He brings energy, rebounding, and leadership. For the Bucks, Portis isn't just another player, he's part of the heart of their team. So when the Warriors made that demand, Milwaukee balked. They weren't willing to give up Portis for a still developing player like Kuminga. Talks ended there. Some analysts immediately jumped in to criticize the Warriors. They said the front office overplayed its hand, asking for too much and ultimately walking away with nothing. But here's where we have to think critically as Warriors fans. On the one hand, yes, Golden State could have made a deal. They could have traded Kuminga for something smaller. They could have tried to move quickly, settle, and avoid the drama. But would that have been the right move? Absolutely not. Jonathan Kuminga is not just another young player. He's a lottery pick with sky-high potential. He's shown flashes of becoming a dominant two-way forward. And when he got consistent minutes last season, he delivered. His athleticism alone makes him a matchup nightmare, and his growth as a defender fits perfectly with the Warriors' culture of versatility. If the Golden State Warriors is going to trade a player like Kuminga, it has to be for real value. Not just a quick fix, not just a Band-Aid, but a piece that